My name's Eva and I am one of the education officers in the digital team, Education Scotland, and I'm also being joined by Louise Foreman on this call. Louise is actually a special guest on this webinar because when you receive your copy of the book, if you look closely, you may see her name at the end. Cybersecurity is fundamental to digital literacy. And we need to be helping the youngest of our learners to understand concepts like passwords and passcodes. And the Bongles are a series of illustrated children's books. There's ebooks, animated audiobooks too. They tell imaginative, funny and eco-friendly stories about the Bongles, and each book has a specific theme. And the book that we're focusing on today is the newest book, The Bongles and the Crafty Crows, which focuses on building young people's cyber resilience. The Bongles and the Crafty Crows storybook aims to help children have fun while learning about cybersecurity. And hopefully you'll soon have a chance to watch the animation or download a copy of the book. Or perhaps you were already here this morning and you have already watched the animation. We're also going to show you where you can download the book as a PDF and where you will receive your very own copy too. Okay, so this brand new storybook has been created in partnership with the Bongles production team and author Oscar van Heek. And they worked in partnership with Education Scotland, so myself and Louise, our Scottish Government cyber colleagues, Cyber Aware and also the National Cybersecurity Centre. It's hugely exciting because it's the first book of its kind to help young learners begin to develop awareness of cybersecurity. And it's the first book of its kind for this age level that also includes the main messages from the National Cybersecurity Centre around 3 random words to make a secure password. And if you didn't hear it already this morning, it's also going to be part of this year's Primary 1 Book Bug Family Bag. So in this session, we're going to explore the Bongles website and the supporting resources. And we're going to show you where you can access future support from the digital team as well. But just to get us started, before we do that, we're going to have a little bit of a sort of virtual mind map. I would like you to have a wee think about what cybersecurity means to you. So what does that term mean to you? We know that it's an important term for us as educators because we need to be supporting young children's understanding of cybersecurity, and we're going to look at that in a wee bit more detail after this activity. So up on screen here we have a QR code or a join code to join a Menti. If you have another device, you can scan the QR code or you can open another tab on your browser. If you're not able to do that, that's absolutely fine. You can just pop things, suggestions into the chat box, but the Menti is anonymous. So there's no wrong answer here. Keywords, short phrases, just type in what comes off the top of your head and we'll build a nice word cloud with all our responses. And after that, we will clarify what cybersecurity is and what it is not, but please do have a go. We'll just pop the other screen up so you can see. And we've got some responses coming through already, fab. So privacy, passwords, password protected, hackers, knowledge, online safety, security, lots of good keywords coming up there. Just give it a few seconds and see if any other responses come through. They quite often all come through at the one time. And while we're waiting there, this session has been recorded. Louise is recording it, so for anybody that joined a wee bit later, you will be sent a link to the recording. You'll also be sent a link to the slides from tonight with all the presenter notes on them, and anything that we discuss that you can access online, we'll send you the links to them as well. So don't worry too much about taking notes, just enjoy the session. Okay, so thanks very much. I'll also send a wee screenshot of this along with your other links too. Okay, so here are the definitions up on screen. And these definitions are taken from the Scottish Government definition from Section 1 in The Importance of Cyber Resilience, Safe, Secure and Prosperous, a Cyber Resilience Strategy for Scotland. Quite a mouthful. I'll just give you a second to have a wee read at those. Now, in this policy, one of the ambitions is for Scotland to become the greatest cyber opportunity for Scotland and its people is for us to become one of the most cyber-aware nations in the world, skilled and able to make the most of digital technology. That's a really important aspiration of this policy, and we are the people that are working at the early level with our youngest learners. So cyber resilience is about the device and how you access the internet and how you're able to recognise risk and be able to react and recover from that risk. This is different from internet safety. Internet safety is more about our behaviours. This is where we're supporting children to learn about being safe online, being smart and being kind. And in the presenter notes, I've popped a link in there with a video made by George and our digital team that explains this in a bit more detail. But that is what our national definition of cybersecurity is, and it sits within cyber resilience. Okay, so what does that mean for our youngest of learners? So we know that digital technology is a big, big part of a lot of young children's lives. You know, it's a big part of our lives, and we don't need to do loads of academic research to know this. We see it every day, don't we? Technology is all around us. Lots of young children, and many of them are still even babies, are able to pick up a device and use it pretty easily. But we are asking for more than that. We're looking for meaningful participation in digital environments for young children. We hope that they are going to be able to play and learn with technology both creatively and with purpose. But we want to ensure that they're doing this safely and securely and learning about this from the word go. And developing into responsible citizens. And again, back to the Scottish Government's aim of Scotland's people being skilled and able to make the most of digital technology. And as early level educators, we do this in a way that's consistent with the principles of play, don't we? And the main messages of realising the ambition that underpin young children's early learning and development. But what does that mean? How do we do this with young children? How can we help our younger learners to understand and develop awareness of cybersecurity through play? Well, first, let's remind ourselves about where it sits in the curriculum. Within the technologies curriculum, in the digital literacy section, there is an experience for an outcome for cyber resilience and internet safety. And this is it here up on the screen. And this starts at early level and is continued right through. But again, what does that look like? Let's unpick it a wee bit. How are we providing children with those experiences? Well, in any type of play experience on offer, whether that's child initiated, adult directed, or if you're doing in the moment planning, everything we do, we risk assess, don't we? We risk assess to make sure the area is safe, the equipment is safe. We always take cognizance of any associated risks to ensure that the children are safe from harm or will be effectively supported to manage and learn from those risks themselves, developing resilience. Because we want them to learn how to recognise and recover. so that, you know, they don't make the same risks again. So some examples of this, are there safety goggles available at the woodwork area? Do we have helmets for the bikes? Do we have a bucket of water beside the fire pit or a fire blanket? And are the devices that we're providing children with, are they set up appropriately with web filtering for their age group? Or are we, as practitioners, are we role modelling the importance of protecting our information with secure passwords? We provide children with an array of hands-on opportunities, you know, in our daily practice to problem solve, to think, to write, to make, to say, to do, and we do all this really creatively. We learn through storybooks, we learn through songs and rhyme, through music, through videos and games, and we can do the same with cybersecurity. And thanks to the Bongles and the Crafty Crows, this has made our job that little bit easier. You may have noticed that there's quite a lot of stories out there for early level learners that support internet safety learning, but there's really not a lot out there, or anything really out there, in terms of cybersecurity for this age group, and certainly none that chime with the messages from the National Cybersecurity Centre about using 3 random word passwords. So we are going to hop over now to the Bongles website and explore the resources there. So when you first come onto the Bongles site, you will land on the home page. We are interested in this section here, the Crafty Crows. Now, we're going to come back to this later, but this is an important part here. So if you do not have a Primary 1 class and you would like a copy of the book, you can click on this link and enter your details into a form, and you will receive your own free hard copy of the Bongles and the Crafty Crows. You can also download the PDF just now for free. So let's go to the top of the page. So we've got some information here about the Bongles and the Crafty Crows. You can download your book. Again, you've got an option here to send away, this one here, sorry, send away for your free copy. And we'll come back to this shortly. We're going to have a wee look at the teaching pack. This is where we accessed the animation this morning to watch the full story, with lovely animations and nice, gentle sound effects and the voiceover. Just give it a little play so you can see how it looks.
The Bongles and the Crafty Crows. Written by Oscar Van Heek. Illustrated by Dean Queeser.
Okay, so that lasts about 7 minutes. And you can make it full screen as well. Okay, then scrolling down here, we have our interactive activities. So we had a little quick look at this morning with the children that joined us online. You can either go through it from start to finish, or you can look at the outline and just skip down through the sections that you would like to focus on. So I'm just going to pick one. Let's pick this one here.
Remember that you must only share your passcode with a trusted adult.
So as well as key information, all the key points from the stories, there are little interactive games too.
Then another swept in, and he brought his mates to eat the food and lick the plates. Squawking about and munching away, they all dressed up and began to play. But Pet heard their noise and started to shout. Waving his arms, he soon drove them out. Pet turned his...
Move it on a wee bit so we can get to the activities.
Password. Passwords are almost the same as passcodes, but instead of numbers, they use words. Pet Robot uses a password to keep the shed safe from the crows.
Just try and find one of the little games here.
Do these items need a passcode or password? Drag and drop them onto the correct side.
So these could be used on any device. I'm currently sitting with a laptop here and the mouse pad, but if you've got a touchscreen device or a mobile device, they could be used there too, in a nice simple drag and drop activities. So that's the interactive activities. You can either watch the animation in full at the top of the screen from start to finish, or you can go through it here bit by bit and have the relevant activities popping up at each section. Now, I would like to show you some other resources. So we were very fortunate in the working group that we're creating the Bongles to have some support from a teacher advisory group. I'm not sure if any of our teachers are on the call tonight, but we had teachers from Highland, from Perth and Kinross and from Dundee that created a series of activities that coincided with the story. And at one of our read-alongs in October, we are going to have one of the teachers to come along and deliver her activity or introduce her activity online. Okay. So in here, there's a mixture of, we've got fact sheets, we've got learning activities, and I will just pick one and show you what that looks like. Okay, so in here we've got, I don't know if you can remember doing this from school, the origami chatterbox selector. So it gives you all the instructions. You can print these off and it'll tell you, how to fold it up and what the children need to do, how many times do they open and close, open and close, open and close, to help them generate their 3 random word passwords. And there is, of course, blank templates as well if you didn't want to use the images that are on here. Takes a wee bit of time to get them folded up. Frances and I discovered that last night. So I don't know if Frances is on this call, but she is the producer of the Bongles. And myself and Frances were at a local Beavers Club last night, introducing the story there and having a try of some of the activities, and they went down really well. Let's have a wee look at another one. Okay. This one will just take a wee second to download. So there's a mixture here. This, does not need to be a one-off at all. There's learning materials that you could use throughout the term, throughout the year. You could come back, dip back into, make sure that you can see my screen here. Yeah. Okay, so this is just another example of the materials created with a lovely teacher advisory group. And as you can see here, I've not put it into presenter mode so that you can see all the notes are there on the slide as well. So there's so much here just for you to pick up and use. Back to the website. I'll show you something else on the website. You may have noticed when I first opened the page up that here we have a Gaelic tab. We are currently having lots of the learning materials translated into Gaelic, but the PDF book can be downloaded here, and also the animation is here in Gaelic too.
Na Bongles, agus na starach an carach. Skriefje le Oscar van Heek, at der hengechu le Joanne.
And there will be a webinar or a read-along for children in Gaelic medium education. We had a very exciting call earlier on today with Linda MacLeod, who you may recognise from Sea Babies, one of the Gaelic presenters, and she has very kindly agreed to deliver a session for us. I think that will be probably coinciding with Scottish Book Week in November, but we will show you where you can find out when those dates for those sessions will be released. Okay. And one more place that I wanted to show you, or the place that I wanted to show you for future support and where you can access these webinars is via the Did You Learn Scot blog. So there's a tab here for webinars, and that will take you to a webinar calendar. So you can see all the events that appear in yellow. Those are the sessions that I normally pop up, and those are usually for early level practitioners. So whether you're an early learning childcare practitioner, pupil support worker, a primary 1 teacher, primary 2, whoever, an ASN teacher, you might be interested in some of these. And we also have on our homepage a tab for supporting cyber resilience and internet safety. And this is where the link to the video explaining the difference between cyber resilience and internet safety can be found as well. So we've got various different support sections there. And also we have similar on the ELC tab, because it's a wee bit different in early learning and childcare, isn't it? And sometimes resources and support that's suitable for primary that can't really be grouped into the same categories for ELC. So ELC has its own wee page here about supporting cyber resilience and internet safety at the early level. And you can see there that the Bongles are taking centre stage there. And there's also a series of webinars that are going to be run nationally. I think the first one is this Thursday, a three-part programme, that will be repeated 5 times throughout the year, where we're going to look at cyber resilience and internet safety in more detail and focusing on those early level experiences and outcomes and the risks that younger children may face. So that's where you can find all of our sessions. We also have a DigiLearn YouTube site, and that's where you can find all of our recordings. So many of our recordings are uploaded here from our sessions. And as you can see, the one from this morning, from the read along, is on there as well. You should be receiving an email just shortly with a link to this and a link to the slides, a link to this recording, a link to the evaluation, and a few other links, including the Bongles website there too. Okay, so I think I have taken you everywhere that I was supposed to, all the supporting information and sessions around this fab new storybook. These are the upcoming sessions, so we will confirm the date for the GNE session, but we have another 2 learner read-alongs in October, and very soon the Eventbrite sign-ups will be live for the November Scottish Book Week read-alongs as well.
The Bongles and the Crafty Crows. Written by Oscar van Heek. Illustrated by Dean Queezer. On a planet far, far away, the night was about to make way for the day. The Bongles were sleeping, dreaming away, when 3 wooden crates drifted into their bay. One full of dishes, and one full of pies, and one full of clothes, dresses and ties. Jessie was pleased. She loved her new clothes, but she better beware, because so did the crows. They dived right in, got some pants and a shoe, flapped their wings, and off they flew. Meanwhile, Bubba was happy. His favorite pies, made from fresh berries with vegetable fries. He took a big bite, then spotted the crows, looking all hungry and now wearing some clothes. Scared they would steal his favorite meal, with one mighty push, he hid his crate in a bush. The twins, meanwhile, stared into their crate, then grabbed some glasses, a cup, and a plate. They started juggling and threw them up to the sky. But the crows swooped in, and they let out a cry. Now Pet had been watching and took matters in hand. He called everyone over and told them his plan. They grabbed their crates, and away they sped, and took their treasure down to the shed. But Big Bubba scoffed. He thought he was wise. He'd already hidden his precious pies. He went off to find his hidden crate, but soon discovered that he was too late. The crows were squawking, munching his pies, leaping about, and eating his fries. Bubba howled and chased them away, then joined the others without delay. Now all 3 crates were safely inside. It was time for a passcode, which Bubba supplied. He pondered which numbers would padlock the door. He puzzled some more, then chose 1, 2, 3, 4. Now feeling happy that no one could breach their lock on the door, they left for the beach. But a crow had been watching from up in the trees and had spotted the passcode with effortless ease. He swooped right down, set the numbers all in a row that opened the lock. What a clever crow! Then another swept in, and he brought his mates to eat the food and lick the plates. Squawking about and munching away, they all dressed up and began to play. But Pet heard their noise and started to shout. Waving his arms, he soon drove them out. Pet turned his tummy into a screen and asked for a password to enter in the machine. He then asked Jessie to stand on her toes and hold out her coat to shield them from the crows. Bubba racked his brain and chose 3 random words: peas, trees, and hummingbirds. Pet extended his arms and reached right round the hut, then clasped his hands tight and locked the door shut. Now only Bubba could unlock the door, for his words were the key to keep their treasure secure. Soon the crows flew in and entered 3 words, but guessed the wrong ones. Those silly birds. Now after 3 goes, they got such a fright, the alarm went off, and they all took flight. The Bongles cried with tears of laughter. Those silly crows, what a disaster. Pleased that their treasure was safe and protected, that not even the crows could steal undetected. Jessie laid out some clothes and they all got dressed up. Then she gave everyone a plate and a cup. She set out the pies and served up the food. They all ate together, and boy, it was good. Then Brainy filled glasses, tapped them with a twig. He struck out a rhythm, and they all did a jig. One by one, the crows came to see, witnessed the dancing, and watched on in glee. Some wearing hats, some wearing pants. The crows were delighted and did their own dance. The Bongles fell about laughing. Those crazy crows, now they were friends and no longer foes.